Well, good evening. I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer. And man, I've been gone for 2 weeks. This feels like I'm kind of like I wanted to go, I'm a virgin. It's for the very first time. It's been a while, you guys, but we have a great show for you tonight. I'm excited to do this and a little nervous about it too. But as some of you may notice, if you drive on I-105 in Springfield, recently on July 1st, actually, a billboard went up. And it says, "We back our blue too." And Dr. Michael Bratlin with Chris Daniel is the one who sponsored the ad, the billboard. He's one of our sponsors of the show tonight. And I thought, we should have the people involved in that come in and talk about why we did that and why we didn't do it, what we didn't mean when we said this. Just because I think there's a lot of people that want to draw inference to things and put their spin on it. And we're going to get some spin control right out the door. So that's how I like to do things. We're also sponsored by Any Lab Test Now. They do over 8,000 different tests, including STD testing, COVID testing. If you need to go on a vacation or a trip, they do that kind of testing as well. Vitamin testing. If you aren't getting enough sunshine, which this time of year is not a problem, they'll do vitamin D testing to find out what you need. And they can give you the vitamin D shots and the vitamin B shots. So that's Any Lab Test Now. Their numbers on your screen. And if you do need a dentist, Dr. Michael Bratlin, my friend and sponsor of the show, there he is. He's the best guy around. Everybody that goes to him loves him, and he knows what he's doing. And so we appreciate that. So Michael, let's talk about what we're doing here. You came to me several months ago with an idea, and I just went, oh no, he's going to push me even farther again. So tell people what you did and what you were thinking.
I just wanted to put. I don't remember if I thought billboard from the get go, but I wanted to support the blue. It kind of started. I think it started when you and I went to Springfield Police Department and fed them lunch. Just a great group of people, and I thought, I don't know, we were talking. I was kind of brainstorming with you about an idea of try to back the blue, and I can't remember if we were thinking print or radio commercials. Which I've done some radio commercials, but then the billboard, I think the billboard guy came to our office out of the blue, and that's where I thought, hey, let's back the blue in a billboard.
And I was noticing this morning, I was at the gym and I haven't watched television in like 2 weeks. And I looked up on the screens where all the blah, 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 blah news crap was. And I saw a headline and they're talking about all the crime increase. And now the Biden administration has a giant crime increase problem. And everybody's trying to refund the police. So obviously that didn't work too well. And I think it's just time for people to, we were very specific with our language saying we back our blue too. So it doesn't mean we aren't backing other groups of people in our community. And it doesn't mean we think that they're perfect. But our police are doing their job is what we were saying. I think that's what I was trying to say with that.
But let's be real, nobody's perfect, and they handle a lot of stress and they do a great job. I mean, there's always anybody errs, but they are Springfield Police Department, Eugene Police Department. They're just a good group of people. So I think that businesses need to show their support more than they're doing right now.
I think it's also interesting that the very people that want to pull their funding are the first ones that are going to call them when somebody's banging on their door trying to get in. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. So after Michael and I started talking about this, I told a friend of mine, of ours, about this. And one day after a spin class, she came up and said, would you guys mind if I was in that billboard with you? And I said, oh my God, that would make it absolutely perfect. So Christy Kilcullen, take center stage.
Hi.
Thanks for being here. You're right on there. So this is Christy Kilcullen. And if that name sounds familiar, that's because her husband, Chris Kilcullen, was a very popular, amazing police officer in Eugene. And unfortunately was murdered on a traffic stop 10 years ago.
Yep.
And that anniversary just passed. And so you said you wanted to be in this and kind of tell the people what that was all about.
So Michael is my dentist. I love him, adore him, go to him. He's amazing. And I don't like to do this kind of stuff
No, you are not a
I
media
don't.
hound at
No,
all.
you've asked me a lot of times.
I've begged you.
Yeah, and I've said no every time. This one caught my heart because of Michael, actually. There have been no businesses or very few businesses that have been vocal about supporting law enforcement. I've had a lot of people who own businesses tell me behind the scenes that they support law enforcement. But Michael with Chris Dental is the only one that I've seen that is actually putting their money and their face where their beliefs are. So I thought, you know what, if Michael's going to put his name and face up there, I'm going to go down with him. So here I am.
So when you hear when the different protests and everything goes on, that's really hard on you and your family.
Last year was really hard. My family is pretty isolated. They don't watch any of that stuff. So, but last year was horribly hard. I would say last year was probably my third worst year of my life.
Really?
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard.
So the year Chris was killed, that was
number one. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
So what was it about last year that was so
because I took it personal. Yeah. Because my family, and not just Chris, but my law enforcement family, they're on the front lines and they're getting all painted with the same brushstroke. And it's not fair. And it's not just my cop friends, but it's their families. They're being harassed. People are coming to their homes. Their children are being harassed at school because the kids are regurgitating what they've heard from their folks. So it's been an all assault on my family, which is the law enforcement family. And so I took it personal. Yeah. And not only that, but I also was very targeted online. I got lots of trolling messages on private messenger saying horrible things, which I will not repeat, but trust me, they're as horrible as you can imagine they are, about Chris, about our children, about me, threats, all kinds of things. So, I mean, this wasn't just, a year it wasn't a phase. It was pretty catastrophic.
And you have a mixed race child, mm-hmm. which I think a lot of people probably don't know. So you have, there's that just adds another layer to things.
Well, and not only that, but I have a lot of non-white, non-male, non-heterosexual police officer friends, right? And that's a huge gamut, right? And they're getting slammed. They're getting, you're being an Uncle Tom, or I can't believe your ancestors, or, they'd be rolling over their grave. I mean, all of those people are getting slammed right now. And so it's like, my heart just hurts for my Blue family. It just does. It just
because that Blue family, I know they stood by. I mean, I was there at the memorial service, and they took you, and they have not let you go.
Right. And that's just kind of what they do. I mean, it's what we take care of each other.
Is that the hard part for you? Because you know the personal lives of these people,
right? And
you know their true soul.
Yes.
And then you see that being ripped up by headlines and comments and also lumped in. So, we all know that what happened to when people are shot and killed, that, different cases, there's so many, I'm not going to go through them all. We don't like that either. And police don't like that either. They don't want to look bad. But
oh, no. And trust me, I'm the first one to be irate at a dirty cop because they ruin it for everybody else. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what happened with George Floyd is horrible, and so when that happens, it again paints all of the officers in a broad stroke, and that just makes me so angry I could just scream. I mean, one does something bad, and then all of a sudden they're all demonic and going to hell and
right,
racist.
Because I've seen things online where it's I sit there and I think, if you said all garbage collectors are this, nobody would even put up with that.
Right.
Or if you said that every 911 operator or every dentist,
every teacher,
now maybe newscasters, maybe we all deserve to be painted that way. I don't know, but it's really easy to lump everybody into a box.
Absolutely.
And then say this represents you. And I find that offensive. And I'm not a cop, but I covered cops forever, and they were the most trustworthy people for me to deal with in this area.
Yeah. One of the most amazing humans on the face of the earth is Cliff Harold, our sheriff. He is the most genuine, humble public servant that you will ever meet in your entire life. And, you know, what people say about him and his family and what they've gone through this last year, it's like, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart.
How has what you've seen this last year, how has that changed you?
Oh, it's made me develop a very thick skin. At the very beginning of this, you know, the ACAB and all the horrible, you know, lines and hashtags really hurt. But over the last year, I've got a thick skin. Like everything that you could imagine has been said to me, about Chris. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I can't be hurt anymore. You know, I've just heard people have said horrible things, but my blue family, that's kind of when my mama bear comes out. And I'm like, you don't know these people. These people are volunteering in your kid's classroom. These people are volunteering down at the mission. And cops are never going to be like, look at me. You know, they're very humble people. So it just makes me very sad.
During one of the BLM protests, I remember that a bunch of people, and I don't know if they were BLM, I don't know who they were, they ripped down the sign that's the Chris Kilcullen Memorial sign over there off where he was killed. Describe what that did.
Oh, I cried. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was just a matter of time before it happened. I was quite shocked it didn't happen before that day, honestly. So when I found it, I was like, well, you knew, kind of, you know, talking to myself, Christy, you knew it was going to happen. So, I mean, here it is. Let's just pull up our big girl panties and deal with it. But what I was surprised about was the lack of community support. Like, there were so many people that were like, let's put it up and I'll come out there with my tractor and we'll bury it in the concrete and, you know, try to get it this time. And so that made my heart happy. And I try not to focus on the few screaming ones. I try to focus on the loud, silent. But sometimes it's hard.
So if you could sit down with the people that tore that down and say what you would say, what would you say?
I would ask them just to come hang out with me and my family. I would ask them to come and hang out with me on April 22nd every year. I would ask them to come talk to my kids. They don't have a dad. And just come hang out and see what our life is. Because we have a huge hole. And people who are out cutting down the sign or doing all that stuff, I don't understand why they don't realize it. There's families, there's little girls without dads, there's spouses without their husband. There's my father-in-law who doesn't have a son. It's my daughters who won't have their dad walking down the aisle. I mean, these are very real. So I don't know who cut down the sign. I don't know if it was just a bunch of kids being dumb or if it was targeted. I have no clue. But police are human. They do make mistakes, like Michael said, because they're human, but they make a lot of great decisions. And I'm just tired of people expecting them to be perfect and then not being understanding when they're not robots, and knowing that there's a face and a real loss behind officer involved shootings. And we're the local example of what that looks like. I
know that I'm going to be careful how I do this, and this is don't get nervous.
Hi, Corinne. Love you.
Hey, she says, come hang out. Hey, we are not your social schedule. Okay. But she'll get you. I think it's interesting because there's been so many cases where police have been, these cases come up and people don't think. You've gone to local leaders and people before and said, you remember this face. Oh. And you don't have to tell the story. Or you can if you want.
I've done that a couple of times to our local leaders.
To local leaders, Christy, you've gone and said, you remember this face when you make those decisions, when you don't stand up for a police officer, and you remember my face.
Yes, I've done that. I did it recently.
Were you like that before Chris's death? Or
yeah.
You always kind of a redhead?
Yeah, I kind of come by this redhead. Yeah, naturally. Yeah. Here's the deal, Rick. Right now in this climate, most people can't speak their truth. which is why I just love Michael, because he does speak his truth and he puts his face out there and is like, love it or leave it. This is where I'm at. There's all of my police officer friends can't speak their truth. None of them. They'll get in trouble. All of their families can't speak their truth because it'll come back on their person. So it's almost like I feel like I'm kind of the person who can speak their truth, because my husband's gone, so he won't get in trouble at work. My family is pretty isolated. Everything's been said to me, so you can't hurt me anymore. So I feel like I kind of can, because of what will my repercussions be? Like, I don't want to challenge anybody, but I've kind of been through a shitstorm. So it's like, I feel like sometimes I can be the voice when other people can't be, because of what could happen to them.
So yeah, Michael, I know you're just standing there listening to us, but or sitting there, but I think that you did for me too the same thing. It's like, well, if Michael's willing to do that, and I do it online all the time, but I think I've hit this thing where it's like, you know what? COVID is, we're in the outskirts of that and things going on, but I'm not going to be silent at all because people don't want to hear what I have to say. Yeah. And when I drove by, I have to say, I was coming home from vacation and I drove by and I looked up and I went, there it is. And I couldn't be happier to be with you guys. But it was like one of those things where you go, okay, so I am now out of the I love the police closet.
But why should you have to be worried about out of it? See, that's the thing that bothers me, is we shouldn't be out. We shouldn't be in the closet. What is wrong with saying I support good law enforcement? Like, it's not a dirty secret that we should keep to ourselves. And that's the thing. Like last year, you asked me, it's gotten better this year. It's still not great, but last year I'd get so many messages from my business owner friends. I support you, but I can't say anything. So, kind of thank you for taking one for the team. And I was like, damn it. Why do I, if we all get together and say enough is enough, but right. I understand the business owners, they'll get slammed, they'll get yelped to death. They'll, people vandalize their businesses. I have lots of friends who are business owners, and they're like, we just can't.
And you know what I think people don't understand? It's because the media doesn't tell the whole story.
Oh, never.
I mean,
never.
Not at all. And I've had Black friends on here. Yes, I said Black friends. And they have said, if I see a Black Lives Matter poster in a window, I won't go do business there, because all that says to me is, please don't retaliate against me.
Yeah.
And I think we need to start talking about that. This isn't anti-Black Lives Matter, but we have to start talking about these things and standing up for one another. And that's the Black community, the Asian community, the Latino community, the white community, yes, even the white community, and our blue community, and start talking about these things, what we really think. And the bullies, go to hell, because I'm so tired of this attitude on there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. It's my soapbox. And there's one thing I would like to bring up, and that's the thin blue line flag that we're holding in the Billboard. That is personal to me. Chris died for that flag. What we go through is that flag, and it makes me so angry when people distort the meaning of that right. flag in both ways. On one side, they're like, oh, it means KKK, it means all this kind of stuff. And then on the other side, it's people with bad agendas who are trying to hijack the meaning of it to further their cause. And it's like, stop. That's not at all. Do not hijack this flag that our family has suffered for to fit your agenda, whatever your agenda is. It's not fair. It's not right. The thin blue line flag does not mean the same as a Confederate flag. It's not a racist flag. And that part, that really digs to me. It's like, people taking down the thin blue line flags and saying all these horrible things. No, I am right here, thin blue line, right here. Chris is dead. He died for our community. That's the thin blue line flag. Don't make it what it's not.
Can I ask you something?
I don't know. You can ask me. I may not answer.
What do you miss the most about Grace?
Oh God, one thing? Are you serious?
Okay, give me a couple.
I'm gonna cry in your stupid show. I miss the way he looked at. I miss the way he looked at me and the girls. That was number one. I miss his laugh because it was huge. I miss watching him engage with the community and turning an icky situation into a positive situation. I miss his stupid, ridiculous jokes. I miss his smell. I miss big family gatherings with him. I miss hearing his motorcycle drive down our driveway. I miss hugging him with all of his police gear on.
What have you learned about yourself?
Jeez, really? This isn't about the Billboard, Michael. Help. I have learned that my faith in Jesus is a whole lot stronger than I thought it was. And that with him, I can do anything, including losing my husband very publicly and living the last 10 years without him and raising the two girls.
Are you stronger than you thought you were?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Are your girls stronger than you thought they were?
Kids are always stronger than we think they are.
I know.
Always. We don't give them enough credit. They're amazing. Yeah.
So if Chris were here today, he would probably be like all the other police officers in our area, putting up with this, taking it. You know what I mean? Speaking, and it's not as, but allowing people to dislike him because it doesn't change who you are and what you do.
Chris would be. I thought of that exact thing the other day when I was driving. It's interesting you would ask me. I was thinking, where would Chris be right now? Chris would work really, really hard at changing the belief of what's out there. He would be killing himself for that, trying to show. Chris was Mr. Jovial. He wasn't Mr. Rico Suave, Mr. SWAT hut. He was chunky. He used his humor and his love to help things. Like Chris and
people said they liked to be pulled. He'd pull them over and they'd thank him when he was done.
Oh,
I mean, he was so nice that they'd thanks, maybe not for the ticket, but thank you,
Do you know how many contractors at our house we got because he pulled them over and then they chatted and then they was like, oh, he's a great guy and he's going to come pour our cement. I mean, it was, yeah. So, I mean, that's the way Chris would be. Chris would also be bitter. This would be killing him. And that's the way a lot of my cop friends are, is it's killing them. A lot of them are leaving early. The defund people are getting exactly what they want. Good cops are retiring early. The departments can't get anybody to fill their boots. Why would you be a cop right now? Why would you sign up for that?
Right.
So, it makes me sad. If he was alive right now, I'd be begging him to retire early, which is what all my friends are doing right now, is they're begging their cop to retire early. So I'm very scared for our future.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thanks for making me cry. Thank you, Michael, for supporting this and everything you do for our Blue community. I'm extremely grateful for you for putting your face out there. I appreciate it. And I'll be in this week to get my teeth cleaned.
Good deal. Thank you.
So, and we're putting that same one in Junction City out closer to where you drive around out there.
And you're doing another billboard?
We're doing another, and there's going to be another one in other. Yeah. So we're putting that one up in Junction City because I know you were driving that way the other day, and I thought if Christy was driving by here, she'd see it. And I already had people. So it's the one we put up one about no more lockdowns.
Oh, sure.
It's coming in from Junction City, and it's going to be out there. So now you can see the one when you're driving out this way. You can see the one when you're driving out that way.
Wow.
And then you never know what Michael's going to do because he'll call me up and like, oh, hey, yeah, let's put up another billboard somewhere. So. Well,
I appreciate it. Like I wish you knew how much I appreciated Michael. You have no idea how much, not just me, but all of our cops. They see that, and gosh, that goes a long way for morale, because morale is so low right now. Eugene, Springfield, Lane County, it's all low. So by you doing that, you have no clue the impact and the spreading of support you're doing to our Blue family. So thank you. I sincerely appreciate it.
Rick, I wanted to say one thing to the listeners, that you and I, we didn't put our faces on there to take away from the message. We just wanted to show that their business people do support Back in the Blue. So it wasn't about putting our pictures up there, because originally I just wanted to put a Back to Blue billboard up. But as we talked about, it was more like, hey, let's show that there's businesses out there and there's people out there that actually put their face behind it.
Well, and then, I'm the marketing guy. So I'm going, Michael, don't you think you should have your logo on there? I mean, to say that's the reason you do it. And Michael's like, no logo. And I'm like,
it's not about me at all. Even though I do have my picture on there, like I just said, the picture on there just is to show that there's business people, and you're a business person too, Rick, that
right.
There's people that will say that they back the blue and back. And I think that we should have more and more businesses. And I think there's a tides turning. As I talk to people are more open about it. It's like they wanted to be quiet, and I don't know why, because like there shouldn't be any reason that we should ever have to be quiet about our views on back-end police officers who we call if we need help, who are wonderful people. If anybody spent any time with the Springfield Police Department or Eugene's Police Department, which I have, you would know that these people are like actually probably the sweetest, nicest, most caring people you ever meet. And so for all these people to go around, and Ryan's like, come on, guys, just get to know, stop being so judgmental, and actually just get to know them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Lots of people coming on. Thank you. Is the billboard part of a motivation behind the U of O mural? We know nothing about the mural, but you can tell us more, Jackie. You can write in and let me know more about that. But no, it has nothing to do with that.
I don't even know about you.
I don't either. That's why I'm going to have Jackie write in. I'll get a new story. Michael, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Michael.
All right, I'm going to pull Michael out of there. And I want to thank Any Lab Test Now, too. They're awesome people. And it's Michael's brother who owns Any Lab Test Now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got my own family here. And so at Any Lab Test Now, you get all your tests done, all kinds of different testing and everything. And thank you. It was fun.
Well, I hate these things.
I know, but you know what? It's really good to talk to people. And I love it. You have a lot of credibility. And when you told me that day that you were going to do it, it just made me feel so much better, because I went, unfortunately, you have credibility with this. And a lot of cops who love you, and
I love my cops.
And what
I love my cops, but I want to be clear that I love my cops that are the good cops. I don't want people to be like, well, she'll support a cop no matter what, and that's not true.
No, it's like, who supports bad people?
Who supports someone that's going to tarnish the badge? Not this girl. So
here's the thing. I think we should just kind of put this out to people, because you already kind of did, and Michael did. Stand up for what you believe in, and whatever that is. If I tell people, I don't care if you agree with me or don't agree with me, but stand up for what you believe, but allow other people to do the same. Don't bully people. Don't tell them what they have to believe, and don't judge them, for God's sakes, for what they believe. And don't put little labels on people because they believe differently than you, because then doesn't that make you the bad? I think that makes you
a bully.
It is. It makes people the bully, because you are trying to get everybody else. You think that it's arrogance, really. I am so right that everybody else that disagrees with me is wrong, and that's just not the way it works.
And I think we have a huge thing going on in our country of trying to divide us. Oh my gosh! Hi, Julie. Everything's about dividing us. Gosh, I'm so sick of the you and the them and the liberal and the conservatives and Democrats, Republicans, and BLM versus that. Stop. I just want to stop everybody from every side and say we're all human. We all bleed the same. We all want the same. Stop listening to the media and the 2-second little news clips about the police brutality, and stop, take a breath, and understand there's two sides to every story. Get to know the other side, whatever that may be. I hate that. And we're just human, and we're all Americans. That's the thing. We're Americans.
Yeah. And I think it's time we get back to that, and just put your foot down, and you don't have to put up with it anymore. And I think we need more people coming out and saying, I support local business. I support my police. I support my Black friends in the community and non-friends in the community. I'm not going to be driven away from people because people want to call me the white guy. I am a white guy. Not a lot I can do about that. So that's what it is. Christy Kilcullen, thank you again. Michael Bratlin from Bratlin,
Thank you, Michael.
from Chris Dental. And if you need a dentist, she's going for a cleaning this week. He's my dentist. He's her dentist. All the really cool people. And if you need any lab work done, any lab tests now, go talk to Stephanie or Adam, and they can get you all set up. And we thank all of them for supporting us. Tomorrow, I have a really fun show, too. A guy named Zach Childers. I met him years ago. He was trying to sell me a knife kit, like knives. And recently, I saw a picture of him on Facebook. And this dude is like a stud. I mean, he has built up. And he is now a weightlifter, and he's going to go into competitions. He's doing competitions and winning them. The interesting part of the story, he also experiences Down syndrome. And you guys are going to love, you're going to love Zach, because he's coming to my office. He said, I want to come to your office, Rick, and do this. And I got video of him so I can show you how tough he is, but he's going to scare you.
That's awesome.
Because he's really tough. And we got a lot more stuff all week. We're going all through Friday, so we have more stories to come. All right. Wow. That
On cue.
I guess that means we're done. All right. Hey, you guys, now I'm going to have to try the second hand here, see if I can do this so the camera doesn't go down there. See you later.